All right, finishing up reflections. We talked about reflections with the y-axis and the x-axis, and I was telling you, I think this is the most important thing to write down all day. So especially if you're just coming back from lunch, if maybe you were snoozing before lunch, you were watching YouTube, this is it right here. Reflect. I might even finish this up. Let's write reflections. Okay. And we might have to reflect over the y-axis where the x changes sign and the y stays the same. We talked about the x-axis where the x's stay the same and the y's change sign. Now I'm going to do number 1 here, and I'm going to do it really quickly. So if you want to keep up, like just keep up. The x-axis is this one. They tell us right here to flip it over the x-axis. Our original pre-image, -4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, right here. That's going to be A. Then we got B is 4, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right here. And then we got C is 5, 1. All right, we got a great big triangle here. There's our pre-image, drawing a line. Now, if I want to find the reflection on the x-axis, this is a nice little code that I'm using here. The x-axis, the x numbers should stay the same and the y's should change sign. That is not hard to do. A is -4, 2. A prime, the x stays the same, -4, and the y changes, -2. Plot that down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. There is my A prime. B, the x stays, the y changes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's B prime. And C, the x stays the same and the y changes. 5, -1. And easy as that, we get our image after the pre-image. We get our prime values. You just change the size. Okay, it should look like we mirrored over the x-axis, and we did. It looks great. 1 is the x-axis, 2 is the y-axis. I'm moving over, I'm flipping the page in like 10 seconds. Any questions?
Let's see.
All right.
-7, 0.
Right here?
For S.
Correct. That was for question number 2, which we did before lunch. Now, let's check this out. Flipping it over. We are not even going to do number 5, which is nice. We're going to go down to the bottom and we're going to check out 9. Now, 9 is telling me about the line y equals x. Now, the line y equals x is not the x-axis. It's not the y-axis. Y equals x is the same as y equals 1x plus 0, if I think about slope-intercept form, where I have a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of 0. Basically, y equals x is the perfect, nice diagonal line, okay? We're going to start at 0, 0, and we're going to go through all these perfect corners. Through there, through there, through there, through there. And it's going to be a perfect diagonal that's going to go perfectly through all those little corner boxes. And in the opposite direction, still. Through the corner, through the corner, through the corner, through the corner. And so it should perfectly cut your square in half if you've ever made a grilled cheese and asked yourself, do I want to cut it in half? Or do I want to cut it into 2 triangles? This is like the grilled cheese cut, right? Because everybody knows cutting it on the corners is better, right? 2 triangles, definitely the better way to put grilled cheese. If you want a real grilled cheese life hack here, try some jelly on your grilled cheese. There you go. Yeah, listen, you got to try it. Grape jelly works great. I'll tell you right now. I tell you, it's the best. It's the best. So we got y equals x. Now, same thing. We got to figure out some way. How can we change this? You know, we got -5, -2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. There's our first point, x. And then we got -3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. That's going to be our point y. And then we got -1, 1 right there. That's going to be our point z. We want to flip this triangle over so that our new triangle is something like, and I'm just kind of guessing here, something like that yellow area, right? So here is the rule. I'm going to go back just because this is where we're going to keep all our information in one place. We know the rule for y-axis, the rule for the x-axis. Let's put y equals x. And the rule for the line y equals x is literally in the name here. The y equals the x. So what that means is x and y switch. Okay? The x equals the y. The y equals the x. They turn into each other. So everybody got this? Again, this is kind of nice here. I'd write this down. The x and the y switch. So let's see it. I'm over here. Very, very easy to do. Here's my x, -5, -2. They're going to switch. So instead of being -5, -2, it's going to be -2, -5. I'm literally just going to take these two and I'm going to switch the order. So that should now be -2, -5. And if I plot that down, -2, -5 is right here. Does that look like it's in a generally correct place? I think this is looking pretty good here. Okay. So again, what I'm doing is switch x and y. When it comes to y prime, the original y, -3, 4, the new y prime, 4, -3. Just switch the order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So y was -3, 4, and we had to switch that around and make it 4, -3. We just went. That means we had to go over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 3, 1, 2, 3. The last one is z, which is -1, 1. Oh, messed that up. So switch it and make it +1, -1. Switch the order of them around, so the positive one comes first and the negative one comes second. +1, negative. I know I probably wrote that down a little confusing. I'm definitely back to work, but my brain is still turning on like the rest of you guys. So if I get a little distracted, I kind of fall apart. And then check it out. Does it look reasonably good? Did we reflect over that line?
Hold on, what does he say?
I know, it's a mess. Here, let me try again. Z prime is, so look at this Z right here. The original, the pre-image is -1, 1, right? So literally just take those two numbers and put them in the opposite order. So instead of -1 coming first, -1 goes second. Instead of 1 coming second, 1 comes first. So it should say 1, -1. All right, let's go back to here. All right, there's one more, which is y equals -x, okay? Now, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a drawing just for how these look so that I don't quite forget, right? So our y-axis is the one that goes up and down. Trying to make that clear by Making it big, right? That's our y-axis. Our x-axis is this one that goes side to side. Hopefully we're getting those right every time. We've been learning that for a long time. Now our y equals x is this one, this nice diagonal. And y equals negative x is this one. The other kind of diagonal. Instead of going from low left to high right, it's from high left to low right. Basically just a negative diagonal. Okay, now this one, we can't just change the sign for x. We can't just change the sign for y. And we can't switch the x and the y because we've already done that. This one, we're going to do absolutely everything. We're going to change the x sign, change the y sign, and we're going to switch the x and the y. So, all switch and change. All right, it's a total switch up. Okay, on this entire unit, including the test coming up Friday, we're doing open notes. Okay? Open notes all week on classworks, quizzes, tests. Even on the test, you can pull out this piece of paper. And so I think that this right here, this is nice. This tells you everything you need to know about reflections, how to handle it. Let's look over here, flipping the page. Last thing we're doing, can you tell me the line that is the reflection line? Number 13. Let me do these 6 questions in 1 minute and then we'll move on. Number 13. What is the line? It's this one. Some of us are going to be very good at this. Some of us are going to have to think about this for a second. Do you see how this line is where we've been reflected, where we've been mirrored? And what is this line? The y-axis. Nice. What about 14? Anybody got any ideas about 14? So the x-axis is this. It's not this one, because if I was a mirror, I would have flipped up there. This is this diagonal line here. So that is y equals negative x. Right. So since we're making a negative line, it's a negative x, right? Our graph's going down, so it's negative. Let's do 16. What do you got for 16? What's up? No, I got literally 4 more than you can go. Number 16, what do you think? So the y-axis is the one that goes up and down. But look, so like here is...
16, I think you said 16.
I'm gonna work at 16 here, this one here. If I see v and v prime, then try to think about what's a line that goes between those. That will kind of reflect them here. And so you're correct. This is going to be the x-axis. Right? So if you pick, like let's do 18 now. Find 2 that match, like D and D prime, and then what is a line that goes through those 2, right? It's not going to be the y-axis. It's not going to be that. Nice. It's going to be y equals x. It's going to be this diagonal one. Y equals x. Now the 2 that we skipped because all of these that we've done, y-axis, x-axis, the y equals x, the y, none of those would work for these 2, okay? If I see r and if I see r prime, right? I mean, y equals x doesn't really work. No, none of those really work. This would be a vertical line like that, which is just a vertical line that we've talked about in this class a little bit, but a lot in Algebra 1. right? So the equation for this vertical line is x equals -3. Vertical lines are x equals. I got Hoy Vux written on the wall. If you remember Hoy Vux helping you out back then. If we look at number 17, it looks almost like the x-axis, right? But it's 1 above the x. It's just a little bit above. So this one would be y equals 1. Okay. These notes, again, everything is 100% open notes this week, which is kind of generous, which means, you know, hopefully you've been taking good notes, which means don't lose this piece of paper. Maybe even put your name on the notes, which is not something that we always do.